Miss or Mrs.?
Ms.
Miss Berkeley, you brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Your Honor, I'm here to get custody of my grandchild and also to make my or soon-to-be ex-son-in-law to pay the child support. My daughter was diagnosed with lymphoma, and Your Honor, it was a long and difficult process, as you can imagine, and he wasn't up for it, and he left.
A grieving grandmother steps into court, her voice trembling with purpose. Her daughter, gone too soon, left behind a child and a broken family. Now she wants custody and justice. But when the child's father vanished in the face of his wife's illness, can he really be trusted to return now? The courtroom is about to uncover truths no one was ready to face. And just wait until you hear his side of the story.
So I went and helped my daughter and helped my granddaughter through this process. And they had been legally separated. He was paying child support, but when my daughter did pass away, I checked into the account. I had access to her financial business, and I checked the account, and he was not putting the payment in there. So I am looking for the back payments that are due, and I am looking to get custody of my granddaughter.
Okay, so let me just make sure I'm clear. Your daughter is deceased now.
Yes, ma'am.
And my condolences.
Thank you.
You're pretty much trying to step into the shoes of your daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I understand.
With the weight of loss on her shoulders, she did what any mother would. She stepped in. She took care of her dying daughter and raised the child in her absence. But after her daughter's death, she discovered something alarming. The child's support, gone, vanished. Now she's demanding accountability and the right to raise her granddaughter. But will the law side with love or biology? The judge is about to ask the questions no one wants to answer.
Okay, why do you believe it would be more appropriate?
He has a lifestyle that I don't necessarily think is best for raising children.
Okay, well, I guess I'll get that from him. Mr. Alberts?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's going on?
Some of those details are correct.
Which ones are not correct?
The fact that I bailed on my wife, our marriage was over a long time before that diagnosis, and we mutually agreed that I would pay child support, that I would support her financially, and I did until she died. And now there's no one to pay child support to, and I don't know why she's dragging me in here, trying to take my kids away from me.
The father finally speaks, and what he says might change everything. He claims their marriage was already over, that he supported her until the very end. And now, he says there's no one left to pay. But is that just a convenient excuse or the truth? The grandmother isn't buying it, and neither is the judge, because what comes next will dig deep into the father's lifestyle, and it's not looking good.
What lifestyle is she talking about?
I don't know. Ask her, Your Honor. I really don't know.
What lifestyle?
Well, he spends a lot of times in bars.
Okay.
A lot of time in bars. He spends a lot of money on babysitting because he spends a lot of time in bars.
Okay. Going to the bar is legal.
True, but who's going to be there to help with homework? Who's going to be there to hear the sad story of how she was bullied in class that day? A babysitter? I don't think so.
Bars, babysitters, missed good nights. The grandmother paints a damning picture, a man lost in nightlife, leaving his child in the care of strangers. But is it enough? Is being an absent father at night grounds to lose custody? The judge wants facts, not feelings, and the grandmother's case may be slipping. But just when it seems like the momentum is fading, she makes a bold accusation that could flip the entire case.
So are you always at the bar and leaving the baby with a babysitter?
No, Your Honor. Anytime
How would she know that?
Maybe because I call every night to say goodnight to my granddaughter.
Okay.
And it's the babysitter that picks up the phone.
Okay, so you don't necessarily know whether he's there or not, right?
Well, why would there be a babysitter there if he's there?
Well, I don't know, but I'm just saying, you don't necessarily know if he's present or not. You just know that the babysitter picks up, right?
Yes. Okay. Technically, yes.
Okay, well then technically you don't really know what he's doing unless you are actually at the bar with him.
She says he's always gone, He says that's a lie. Every night he calls, and every night it's the babysitter who answers. Coincidence or confirmation? The court is trying to find the truth in a web of assumptions and emotions. But as the grandmother admits, she doesn't know for sure. Her case is on shaky ground, and the judge is closing in. And now the question becomes, is she crossing a line just to protect her granddaughter?
Or you have someone spying on him, which is completely wrong. But that really has nothing to do with why we're here today. His child support should have stopped because there is no one to pay the child support to. Your granddaughter lived with your daughter, right? At
Yes.
the time of her death. Right, so you can't step into the shoes of your daughter. The
But-
only other living parent is dad.
True, but Dad was not around for the last 2 years. I was.
Right, but the child now has been living with dad since your daughter passed away, right?
Yes.
And when did your daughter pass away?
About a year ago.
Yeah.
The judge draws a hard line. You cannot step into the shoes of the deceased, not legally. And though the grandmother raised the child for years, the law recognizes only one parent now. Him. But is the law fair when love was abandoned? Tensions rise as the courtroom redefines what custody, care, and family truly mean. And just when it seems like there's no path forward, one heartbreaking detail changes everything.
Your rights are not superior over his in this particular case. There wouldn't be. There's no reason why he should be paying child support to you. I mean, you had access to the account that the money was going into because of your daughter. But now that she's deceased, there's no one to pay the child support to. So he should not be paying child support anymore. So he did the right thing. You just may not agree with it, but
I do not agree with it, Your Honor.
why do you need the money?
I don't need the money. I need to make sure that my granddaughter is getting everything that she deserves.
But how would you know that if she lives with him?
The judge has made it clear child support stops with the mother's death. Legally, the father has done nothing wrong, but the grandmother isn't asking for money. She's asking for certainty that her granddaughter is truly being cared for. But how can she know when she's on the outside looking in? The judge challenges her motives, and the truth cuts deep. This fight isn't about finances, it's about fear. And next, she risks it all with one last plea.
Now, if she lived with you, that would be valid. But if she lives with him, you can't necessarily speculate and say what he is or he isn't doing.
Well, I know what my granddaughter tells me.
Well, we're not going to go into that because children aren't very honest all the time. And how old is this child?
6.
Yeah, they have a very big imagination. So, I mean, I can't do anything about that. He should not be paying child support. And I'm assuming you cover the child on health insurance?
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, the only thing I can order, pretty much is that he maintains that child support, the medical support on the child, but other than that, and that's through your employer,
Yes.
that's all that he can be ordered to do.
A 6-year-old child, a tangled family, and a grandmother desperate to believe her. But the judge reminds everyone, children don't always tell the full truth. Imagination, misunderstanding, emotion, it's all on the table now. The only thing clear, the grandmother has no legal standing. And the father, he gets to walk away with more than just custody. But in this courtroom, peace is never guaranteed. And in the final moments, one question still haunts the room.
I'm not going to make him pay child support for a child that belongs to him and that lives in his house.
Fine.
Okay. Is there anything further from you?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else from you?
What if the child wants to come live with me?
Well, she's 6 and you're not her parent. So she does not get to make that call. Now, dad starts doing something, like if it's actually proven that he's been neglectful and going to bars or anything like that, and the child ends up living with you, then yeah, but you're not the parent. So unfortunately, I can't do anything about that. Okay. If there's nothing further, you all are dismissed.
It's over. The court won't grant child support, won't consider the grandmother's guardianship. The law has spoken, but has justice been served? A child's future hangs in the balance. A grandmother walks away empty-handed, and a father walks away with everything. But should he? That's up to you. Was this the right decision or a legal failure? Let us know what you think in the comments. Subscribe for more real courtroom drama and stay tuned. The truth is never as simple as the verdict.